you been to the area's premier radio-controlled hobby shop and raceway? Underground Raceway and Hobbies in Great Northern Mall has 2 indoor tracks for racing at every experience level. Don't have your own car? No problem. You can rent one from us. When you're ready to get your own, we've got an on-site hobby shop with everything you need, including all the popular brands. Underground Raceway and Hobbies has kits for land, sea, and air. Cars, boats, planes, you name it. Come see us next to Dick's in the Great Northern Mall in Clay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MotoOption Supercross. From Matawan, Michigan, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, number 78, Jacob Hubbard. From Tampa, Florida, riding for Underground RC, number 5, Tyler Lang. From Scottsdale, Arizona, riding for Panini Motorsports, number 51, Payson Johnson. From Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, riding for Adept Creative Co., number 16, Logan Leitzel. From Monterey, Tennessee, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard. Number 86, Tyler Shields. From Warner Robins, Georgia, riding for Panini Motorsports, 2020 Supercross champion, number 18, Jeremy Siebold. From Dallas, Texas, riding for Duncan Racing, number 28, Trevor Byrne. From Shawnigan Lake, Canada, riding for Panini Motorsports, number 24, Colby Eaglin. From Costa Mesa, California, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard, your defending Supercross champion, number 1, Braden Carter. From France, riding for Panini Motorsports, 2018 Supercross champion, and your current points leader, number 7, Alexis Leclerc. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome into round 4 of the 2022 MotoOption Supercross series. Starting here again, we're going back to Anaheim 2 tonight, and it's going to be a great night of racing. If you were with us last week for the San Diego round of MotoOption Supercross, boy oh boy did we have a fun 450 main event. We had 4 guys within 10 seconds of each other by the time that the flag was waving, and it was a close battle all the way throughout. We might be in store for another one of those tonight. We already took a look at the track a little bit earlier on tonight. Now let's take a look at those qualifying times though to see where things are shaping out. We'll go back to our live screen here and see what we're looking at in each class. Looks like we got to get the time's actually reloaded here, so hold on just a minute. But again, like I said, we are back in Anaheim here tonight for the second of 3 Anaheims. We'll be back in Anaheim 2 weeks from now, but you can keep up with that on the bottom of the screens for future dates. So Payson Johnson, who was in the thick of that battle last week that we saw, 103 flat Jaden Wilson on a 104.7. Payson Johnson 1.7 seconds clear of the field. That is incredible to start the evening here. Tyron Tomich 104.8. Colby Eaglin 104.9. Trevor Burns 105 flat. Then our championship leader Alexis Leclerc comes in at a 105 flat as well. And defending champion Braden Carter right there at a 105.1. So if you actually take Johnson out of this and take Jaden Wilson back to Caden Speck in 16th, everybody's separated by about a second. But Johnson clearly doing some stuff that is a little bit different. We're going to be keeping an eye out on what it is that he's doing different as we get racing here shortly. In the 250 class, it's Rasmus Balzer, the fast Dane, on a 105.992, just getting under the 106 mark. But the Aussie Jet Holyhead is right on his heels on a 106.234. Championship leader Casey Cochran checks in at a 106.562. And Luke Magnetti, Maxime Vanderbeek rounding out the top 5. Luke Sullivan, he missed the main event last week after winning the opening round at Anaheim 1. So he is looking to rebound here tonight and try to stay in this championship fight, which is obviously getting a little bit closer here at the front now that things have shifted around. Cochran still does not have a win to his name. Of course, last week we saw Johan Bordeaux pick up his first career North American Championship victory. So Cochran holds the points lead in this 250 West class by 7 points now over Rasmus Balzer, Seth Shirley, and Luke Magnetti, all right there, 10 points back. Lucas Schwartner, Johan Bordeaux also right there in the mix, but keep an eye on Sullivan down there in 8th. Even though he missed the main last week, he's still only 21 points out. We got a lot of racing left to go, so this 250 class, as much as it seems like it's already starting to spread out a little bit, there's some chance that it'll actually tighten back up here tonight. The 450 class, though, is in the opposite realm. We are already starting to see some separation in this 450 class through 3 rounds. A lot of racing left, of course, in the 450 class, too. But Braden Carter and Alexis Leclerc have kind of established themselves so far as the class of the field and when it comes to race pace. Carter won the opening round. Leclerc won round 2 and 3. 9 points in between them. Keep an eye, though. Colby Eaglin, he's right there in the mix, only 18 back of Leclerc. And then Burns and Seabolt rounding out your top 5. Of course, Johnson, he actually didn't make the main event at the opening round. So he's full-blown in catch-up mode at this point. P8 in the standings, 38 points back. He needs to win races and win them right now. So it's going to be all on the line for Johnson moving forward. Leclerc and Carter already starting to fight for this championship a little bit. Lots and lots of fun. Let's go ahead and jump in the server and see where things are at. I think we're probably getting UIDs grabbed right now. Seeing if anybody else is riding the track. Lang's just sitting here. But we're going to get racing here in just a few moments, and I might as well go ahead and just do this before we even start so I don't mess this up. We got to get our little moto name thing up and get rid of all these other ones. LCQs, heats, all the way down, and there we go. Now we should see 250 Heat 1. All right, so we're just about ready to go racing here tonight in Anaheim. Here's a quick look at the track from the third-person perspective if you missed at the beginning of this broadcast what the track is supposed to look like here tonight. Kind of a sharp, a little bit more than a 90-degree first corner, a little roller. These guys are going to go double step on, step off through this first section, but then when they come back around a lap later, they're actually jumping over the first turn complex and then triple table over single into the next corner. Not sure what's going on right here. Looks like we're trying to send a restart, but it's taking a little bit. There we go. So 250 Heat 1 will be coming up first. As we mentioned, if you're new to MotoOption Supercross here tonight, these races are exactly like you would see at a real Supercross event. In this 250 Heat number 1, the riders will go 6 minutes plus a lap. The top 9 riders will then transfer on to the main event that we will see later on this evening. Then there will be a second 250 West Heat race coming up right after that. Same story, top 9 transfer to that main event. All other runners head to a last chance qualifier, which will go for 4 minutes plus a lap. And 4 riders make it out of that to make up your 22-rider 15-minute plus 1 lap 250 West main event for round 4. And then in the 450 class, right after those 250 heats are over, we move to the 450 class. The 450 heat races go 6 minutes plus a lap as well. Top 9 transfer out of those. All other runners go to that last chance qualifier. 4 minute plus 1 lap LCQ gives us our final 4 riders for a 22-rider, 20-minute plus 1 lap main event for round 4 of MotoOption Supercross here at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Hope you guys are ready to get racing here. Got a good, lively chat joining us this evening. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely Wednesday evening or perhaps Thursday morning or maybe a Thursday midday if you're watching from Australia. wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you're having a lovely time and you're ready to kick back and watch some racing here on Start Your Systems. Got to get a quick Disco Rico real quick. And we are going racing here shortly. So here's a quick look at our field, this 250 West Heat 1. There is your championship leader, Casey Cochran, on that Adept Creative Co. number 20, backed by UndefinedLifestyle.com. Brandon Nygren on the 47. D-Mills gets absolutely lit up by Kyle Carpenter, Tyler Blowers, Dominic Paolini, Ryan Pinkerton, Luca Schwartner, Daniel Irvine, Tyson Johnson, Brandon Wolf, Benjamin Miljkovic, Seth Shirley, Alec Horn, Aaron Rockefeller, and Matt Cromie rolling side by side. Maxime Vanderbeek, J.R. Reyes, Rasmus Balzer, your fastest qualifier, and Charles Gable there sitting on the gate. All these runners getting ready to go that 6 minutes, plus a single lap for 250 West Heat number 1. There's a unique line that I saw a couple guys working on in qualifying there, getting that outside out of the corner, and then they use that little lip coming into the section to, I guess you'd call it a triple over the table, triple, double through the section. If you step on, step off through that long rhythm section past home plate down the third baseline here at Angel Stadium, you get pitched very high on the triple after that. So I think the line that you just saw Cochran do is likely going to be one that we'll see a lot of the 450 guys hitting. Not sure how consistent it will be for those 250 guys. All right, you're ready to get those revs revved up and drop the gate. 30 card is up, 30 card is about to go sideways, and we're going to be off and running here in Anaheim. Let's go 250 SX West Heat race action, Heat 1 right now. Balzer versus Shirley to the inside. It came out of the middle, though. It was Alec Horn on the push and P. First Turn Films number 55 who picks up the hole shot. Or is that the 59, excuse me. But he's going to maybe get past. Balzer tried to triple over. I like that line Horn took, though. Double, triple, single up to the triple face, and then off the track, though. So Balzer is going to take that lead, and there's Balzer trying to go over that table. You can see how high in the air Horn gets on that triple jump right after that, but he's going to reassume the race lead after a mistake there of Rasmus Balzer. So it's Horn leading the way from Balzer, and then moving up is the 73 machine of J.R. Reyes. He's got your championship leader, Casey Cochran, right behind him. Aaron Rockefeller rounds out your top 5 as Balzer gets a little sketchy at the end of the whoops there. Corrals it back together and holds on to second place. Early runnings in these heat races, these guys are usually just trying to kind of figure it out a little bit, sort their positioning, not push the envelope too much, because you do not want to go down in the early stages of this one and end up towards the back of the pack, trying to fight your way into a transfer spot. All these guys are comfortably in right now. So, of course, you want to hold those positions if possible. Alec Horn actually starting to stretch it out just a little bit over your fastest qualifier, Rasmus Balzer. And number 59 gets that triple in this time by, gets the triple out as well. Swings to the outside. Is he going to go over that table? He's trying to. Didn't quite get it. Balzer did actually get it very cleanly. He's going to triple down the inside. And Horn, not sure if Balzer thought he was going to get landed on right there, or if he just didn't have the right angle into the corner, but he backed out of the challenge, and Horn, at least for the time being, holding on to the race lead. They have opened up a bit of a gap over new third place man, Casey Cochran. Cochran has gotten around the number 73 VSR KTM of J.R. Reyes. Daniel Mills moves up into the top 5 around Aaron Rockefeller with Seth Shirley, Tyson Johnson, and Ryan Pinkerton holding on to those transfer spots for the time being. Battle up front, though, continues to rage. Is up the inside. Balzer makes the pass for the lead. Horn, does he have a response in the whoops? Well, Balzer, oh, he's off the side of the track. What a nice save. But that could have been ugly. He could have went down or perhaps ended up in the other lane. Now Horn tucks a front end, and Balzer goes back to the lead. So Balzer reassumes the race lead just like that. Horn slips back to second. Here comes championship leader, red plate holder, Casey Cochran, up into third place as we approach the halfway point of 250 West Heat number 1. So yeah, you're actually seeing a lot of these 250 guys trying to get that over table line. Cochran getting it very smoothly right there. Go on board with the championship leader. Double in, triple, and double again. 110 flat last time by. Remember, these guys were just nibbling into the 105s, mid 106 range. A lot of the top times for the 250 class, so I think race pace wise you'll probably see it hover around the high 106s, 107s for a good lap. There's a 108.6 there out of Casey Cochran, and he's definitely catching Alec Horn. Question is, will he have time if he gets around Horn to run down Balzer in the race lead? These whoops this week as well, pretty big. You got to really get going on top of them and carry a lot of speed through them. So he jumps over that double, triples, and then table over single into the corner here. Look at that. Triple in, but that triple out, man, just pitches you so high in the air. He's certainly reeling in Horn rather quickly here. Horn a mistake, and this is going to be Cochran's opportunity. Horn can't even get the triple off the on-off, so Cochran moves up into second place. Now he's 4 seconds down our race leader. He is not doing that triple in line right there, so perhaps just going for the smart lines at the moment. Oh, a mistake, and up the inside. Horn went back through. Cochran tucked the front end. He's just trying to get it picked up now, and we'll continue on in, looks like 4th place, ahead of Seth Shirley. So D-Mills also went through. He's up to 3rd. Oh, Alec Horn almost went down on the triple right there. Kind of got a bit of a double whip going. And they're all chasing this man, the Ruma Suzuki of Rasmus Balzer. So it's Balzer leading from Horn, D-Mills, and then Cochran with Shirley rounding out your top 5. Here's Aaron Rockefeller in 6th. J.R. Reyes, he slipped back to 7th. He's still in a transfer spot, though, just ahead of Ryan Pinkerton. Oh, but Reyes just went down, and that will cost him a transfer spot. So moving up into that final spot now, Kyle Carpenter, the Tiger Designs number 39 Honda. Tyson Johnson also went by on the Stance 196, and they're catching up to Casey Cochran there on the 20. Cochran, it looks like he may have gone down with Seth Shirley. Oh, man, Pinkerton, he's hopping through the whoops. What a nice save, though. And that allows Shirley to close right in. That inside rut in the sand is definitely getting quite developed. Look at Shirley. He gets a nose on Pinkerton and puts him on the deck. It rejoins now behind Cochran. Shuffling of positions back here. These guys are all in transfer spot, at least for right now, but kind of racing like they're not a little bit. Shirley's going to try to get back to the inside here of Cochran as they bump and bounce through the whoops a little bit, and Pinkerton's down in the background. He's gone over the bars. So how many positions will he lose? There goes Carpenter. Is he going to get up still in a transfer spot? It looks like he is just going to hold on into that 9th spot. J.R. Reyes, who I saw down in the opposite rhythm lane just a moment ago, has lost quite a bit of time, and down in the background there is Tyler Blowers on the Verb Moto 746. He was battling with Lucas Schwartner on the JIBR.co, number 26, excuse me. The white flag has now waved for our leader, Rasmus Balzer. Firmly in control of this heat race at this point. Holds a 6.5 second lead over Alec Horn as they head over the finish line jump. And barring a late race mistake here, Rasmus Balzer is going to take his fastest qualifying position and also win his heat race. Judging by pace at the moment, be interesting to see on a total race time basis whether he'll end up with first gate selection or not. If you're new to MotoOption Supercross or new to Supercross in general, the gate selection for the main event is alternating order between heat races, but it depends on which heat race was the fastest. So if Balzer, say right here, runs a 7:45 total race time for a heat race, and the next heat race runs a 7:50 TRT for the heat race, then Balzer would go to the line first, and whoever wins the second heat goes to the line second in terms of gate selection. So we'll see what happens. But at least for right now, we do know Rasmus Balzer is going to bring it home. 250 West Heat 1 goes to Balzer. So Alec Horn, solid effort to bring it home in second. Daniel Mills will be third. Cochran slipped back to fourth, but he should be solid there. Rockefeller moved back into the top 5, where he shall stay. Shirley comes through in 6th. Pinkerton 7th. Carpenter 8th. Pinkerton just went down. J.R. Reyes coming into the whoops with Tyson Johnson. And Pinkerton is trying to get going, as coming through right there is Johnson into the final transfer spot. Pinkerton, 2 whoops until he was going to be good to go. Goes down and is going to be headed to the LCQ. Barring penalties after this, we'll have to see whether any of these guys have cuts added to their total time. Pinkerton ends up in 10th, 11th for Schwartner. Miljkovic there in 12th. 13th for Daniel Irvine, 14th for Maxime Vanderbeek, 15th for Nygren, 16th Blowers, 17th Charles Gable, 18th for Matt Cromie, 19th for Brandon Wolf, and Dominic Paolini did not finish on the lead lap. So we're waiting for those cuts to come in to confirm our top 9 and see where things are at. Cuts are in. Not a lot of cuts all around, so the top 9 stays the exact same. Rasmus Balzer takes the win in 250 heat number 1. All right, so 250 heat number 2 coming up next. Back in studio, Kellen Brower bringing you guys the action tonight here on Start Your Systems, where Rasmus Balzer has just won the first heat race of the night. See a whole host of other guys, including Luke Magnetti and Luke Sullivan, our other 2 race winners so far this year, and Johan Bordeaux, I believe, will also be in that heat race. So actually all 3 of our race winners so far this year should be coming up in heat 2. I'm not sure if I saw Bordeaux on the qualifying tonight, but he did win last week in San Diego. Sullivan won the opening round, and then Magnetti won round 2 in Oakland. So if they are all here tonight, they should be coming up in heat 2. Be fun to see how they shake up against each other. But great to have you guys joining us here tonight. MotoOption Supercross round 4 here from Anaheim. And can't believe we're already at the 4th round of the season. It's kind of crazy how fast January has gone by. Looking at my calendar and see the 26th already is a bit mind-blowing, but cranking along and getting into the thick of this 250 West Championship, no doubt about it, because we're 3 rounds in, kind of in the middle 3 race swing now at this point. Rounds 4, 5, and 6. Gonna end our West Coast swing before we go back to the East Coast rounds, start the East Coast Championship. That'll be round 7 in Minneapolis when the East guys get their chance to start going. So these next 3 races is kind of like the middle, but also like an ending point for this championship to a degree, because they're going to have a huge break coming up in just 3 races. So pivotal moments in this championship for this 250 West class, and going to be interesting to see who kind of breaks the mold or breaks through and does some good stuff here tonight in Anaheim. Got 400 and looks like 25 viewers right now. Everybody hanging out in chat, having a good time. Quintino wants me to call him daddy. That's funny. What else we got? Am I missing any questions? Has anybody got anything you guys need answered about the racing action if you're new to MotoOption Supercross, or maybe you're confused about what we're watching at this point? Happy to answer any questions for you guys. But yeah, getting ready to drop the gate here in 250 West heat number 2 in just a few moments. All right, back in the server. Take a quick run through the field here and see who we got coming up in heat 2. All right, Seth Harnischweger on the JNP bike there. Blake O'Brien, Jack Gatland, Alex Heckman, Seth Crotty. There is Luke Sullivan. Johan Bordeaux is here tonight. Holden Coate, Joey Arico, Tanner Thorson, Ryan Swanson, Reese Harris, Luke Magnetti, Jed Holyhead, Riley Hewen, Trevor Spencer, Juan Gomez, Chris Post. I believe there's one other guy we missed in here. Emmett Sund as well, all going to the line here. 250 heat 2. Hit the 30-second head start challenge in the main. What's my favorite snack? Gosh, good question. I don't know. That's you put me on the spot right there. Favorite snack? I don't know. Lately, I've enjoyed a good Cheez-It here or there. Cheez-Its are pretty good. Also, those little Schneider's pretzels, but you get the honey mustard version. Oh, it's like chef's kiss right there. All right. On to 250 West Heat 2, getting ready to go and drop the gate. Of course, 6 minutes plus a lap. Top 9 transfer to the main event. Let's find out who they are right now in Anaheim. Now the 11 and the 40 get to the corner first, but who controls it? It'll be the 40, Johan Bordeaux. And here's all 3 of our race winners right at the sharp end of the field. Bordeaux leads, Sullivan right there in second, and Magnetti tripling up into third on the 19. They were actually side by side going into the second corner. So this is going to be great to give us a little bit of an indication where all three of our race winners so far this year kind of stack up in terms of speed. Magnetti made a little bit of a mistake, but Sullivan's trying to triple to the lead, and he does on his teammate. Luke Sullivan takes it over on the 11, taking it away from last week's winner, Johan Bordeaux. A couple Panini teammates as Magnetti on the 19 in the background makes a couple of mistakes. He's dropped back to 6th, it looks like, in the early runnings here. So Sullivan now leads the race. Bordeaux settles back into second. It's the 105 of Jet Holyhead, your second fastest qualifier here tonight, who runs in third. Wilcox, and then Magnetti has moved back into the top 5 as everybody kind of settles into an early pace here. Sullivan trying to keep his new teammate at bay here. We hadn't seen Bordeaux up until round 2, I believe it was, that the first time we saw Bordeaux this season. And Sullivan getting used to him because Sullivan has gone to Panini from the First Turn Films program. Both of them getting that triple in pretty good. Sullivan maybe a little bit short on entry. Oh, and then absolutely lays it over on the Supercross triple. Both those guys trying to get over that table, but Bordeaux, he's actually made a little mistake and missed it. Holyhead got it very clean, and the 15 closing up right there. Trying to triple in out of the corner, but he's short. Very technical triple in, especially on those 250Fs. You just cannot make a mistake in the corner and still expect to triple out. So Sullivan now getting a bit of a gap established after the mistake from Bordeaux. Holyhead closes up. And Magnetti has now moved back into 4th, so he is trying to claw his way into the picture once again after those early mistakes. Look at the drive Holyhead has in the whoops. Not quite enough just to get to Bordeaux. It's interesting, both these guys kind of racing right now on opposite sides of the world. Bordeaux out of France and Holyhead, the rider out of Australia. They are both in those countries at this very moment racing each other. This is not a LAN event. Look at this, Holyhead trying an inside move, but then look at how high on the air he gets off of this triple right here, and then Bordeaux is able to pull back alongside, but he's made a couple mistakes, and Holyhead makes the pass stick into second place. So Holyhead up into second. Bordeaux slips back to third. And Magnetti closing the gap up there in 4th. They are all still chasing race leader. Luke Sullivan checking in onto lap number 4. 3 laps down. A little over 3 minutes done as well. So we're pretty much at the halfway point. Probably going to have a 7-lapper here. Oh, Sullivan right in the rear tire on the exit of the whoops right there. Whoa, Holyhead actually lagging a little bit right now. And we are not picking him up on timing and scoring either because of that lag. Just got a little front end lock right there. But look at, oh man, big lag right now for Jet Holyhead. Let's hope this is not going to cost him a transfer spot at this point. But you can see it's, really struggling right there. He's slipping back down the order, and the timing gates have not registered his position in about a half a lap. So he's falling down the order, but if he does get back into the server and doesn't lag out, those timing gates will catch up to him. So looks like theoretically on track he's still at about 5th place. Luke Sullivan continues on with the race lead. Bordeaux and now Magnetti. There is Holyhead. It looks like he is closed up to the back tire of Magnetti, but timing and scoring has still not caught up with us on him. There it is. Now it's showing him in 5th. He's kind of shuffling back and forth from 5th to 4th, but he is in this battle. He's right now in 4th on track. And trying to catch up to Magnetti here to move into 3rd. Magnetti doesn't quite get the line right there. That's going to cost him some time, and Holyhead going to take full advantage to go up into 3rd. So the positions continue to change around. They're all still chasing Sullivan. Let's go back. P5 here for Thomas Wilcox. He's right off the mix there. Seth Crotty in 6th. Swanson 7th. Spencer 8th. Emmett Sund in the final transfer spot right now, but Holden Cote just got the triple in right there, and he is trying to close that gap down. Oh, everybody's trying to get those different lines. Emmett Sund made a mistake. Here comes Holden Cote for the final transfer spot, and he gets it, but Sund, I thought he was going to cut back underneath, but he clipped his rear tire and went down. That will cause him to lose quite a bit of time on this transfer spot battle, but he's still back there in the background in case things get spicy up here as the 57 machine, as Trevor Spencer slides the rear end into the corner. Holden Cote just doesn't want to get collected in the BPC Cowie's riders' mistakes. And back we go across the start straight right there, and Spencer dealing with the pressure from behind out of Holden Cote. Cote just cannot quite get close enough to think about making a pass just yet. Emmett Sund, this guy's got to be wary. He is lurking back there. Look at that line again. Holden Cote gets the triple in, but it just doesn't seem like if you go double, triple, single, and get the single pretty clean as well, it seems like it's maybe about the exact same, if not even faster, to do so. White flag waves for race leader Luke Sullivan as Cote nails the triple in. Triple single to the inside, trying to get the pass done, and he will do so. So Trevor Spencer slips back to 9th. Maybe not, though. Oh, Cote sliding into the sand section. These two going back and forth, and now Spencer back up the inside, gets into Holden Cote, and they both let Emmett Sund go by. So Cote gets stood up in the bales. That moves Trevor Spencer into the final transfer spot as Tanner Thorson closes up to their rear tire. Oh man, Thorson got a great drive. He's kind of swapping towards the end of the whoops right there, but boy oh boy, as he closed right up on these guys. And the battle is on. 3 riders on the screen. Only 2 of them can go to the main event, barring a crash from somebody else ahead of them. Oh man, Trevor Spencer nearly off the side of the track. Is this Thorson's opportunity? Oh, down the inside, makes the block pass for 9th. The transfer spot battle, hot and heavy in Anaheim, as up front Magnetti actually takes the race win from Bordeaux. A mistake for Thorson. Here comes Trevor Spencer. Let's see if he goes to the inside before the whoops. Thorson's trying to go defensive. Spencer up the inside, goes down. He clips his head on the inside and falls off the bike. So Thorson holds on for the time being. Holden Cote is trying to put one last effort into it. To the line for the final transfer spot. Thorson goes defensive up the inside and gets it to the main event on the 90 Proline Designs Yamaha. Cote just misses out. So it was Thorson, Emmett Sund in 8th. Swanson ended up 7th. Wilcox in 6th. 5th for Seth Crotty. 4th for Jet Holyhead. Luke Sullivan ended up 3rd after the early lead. 2nd, for Johan Bordeaux. And Luke Magnetti was able to come back through and win this heat race. Holyhead, fastest lap of the heat race here at a 106.835. Take a look at cuts and see if anything shifted around. Oh, indeed! Holden Cote makes the main event on cuts. So penalties applied after the race. 1.95 seconds of cuts applied to the total race time there for Tanner Thorson. I didn't see where he went off the track. Perhaps I missed it. But Thorson heads to the LCQ based on a penalty that is applied post-race. Wow. All right, so 450 Heat 1 coming up next. Back in studio here, Kellen Brower in booth, bringing you guys the action here at Anaheim 2. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your evening so far. Great transfer battle action in that heat race. That's kind of the stuff that we're hoping to catch here on camera. Sometimes I don't always get to see that stuff, but tonight we got a good one there, and maybe we got some more good stuff coming in these 450 races. But this is the big dogs, of course. Alexis Leclerc, Braden Carter, Colby Eaglin, Trevor Burns, Jeremy Siebold going to the line. Tyler Lang, he missed the main event last week. He's trying to rebound. So too did Jeremy Smith on the 4. Those guys are having a tough time so far, but they're trying to make stuff happen. And what about Payson Johnson? 8th in the standings coming in. He's 38 points down already. So he's got a huge hill to climb to get up into this championship fight. But it could start with a race victory tonight. Maybe he gets a win here. Maybe he gets a win next week. Maybe a bad race or two for Leclerc and Carter mixed in there. Suddenly the gap's down into the 20s, maybe even the teens at that point. We'll have to see. But of course, that all hinges on how Johnson can handle the deficit that he's already in so far in this championship. He's got a lot of points to make up, got a lot of races that he needs to win. But if there's anybody that can do it, it is probably that man who was fastest qualifier tonight by 1.7 seconds over Jaden Wilson and the rest of the field. Incredible stuff there. So we're going to see firsthand, I think, right now, what Payson Johnson is capable of on this racetrack. What lines is he doing? Is he busting out that cheeky 3-4 through the rhythm section before the whoops? Have to imagine it's something along the lines of that. Dale Mullins, Braden Tharp, Nick Tomasunis, Tyron Tomich, Seth Garrett, Trent Adams, Dylan Cavacuti, Logan Leitzel, Ash Deering, Dennis Fjellberg, Dylan Copeland, Bryce Whelan, Jack Haley, Bob Joe, Tyler Shields, Jacob Hubbard, Trevor Burns, Payson Johnson, and Braden Castellaneta going to the line. How about Byron Downen here tonight, the 2014 MotoOption Supercross champion? Raced with us a little bit last year with his triple-digit number after spending 4 or 5 years essentially retired from the game. Now back racing with us this year on the 87 JDR machine. Always interested to see what Downen's capable of. So it looks like we should have 5 former champions in the field tonight. We've got Downen, we've got Jack Haley, we've got Alexis Leclerc, we've got Jeremy Seabolt, and we have Braden Carter all in the 450 class tonight. So there you go, 5 former champions in this 450 class. Getting ready to go to the gate tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun to kind of see how it shakes down. Good to have Downen back racing with us. Again, I think everybody's kind of keen to see what this man right here does, Payson Johnson. I think we're going to have to watch him off the start and see if he can get out front and show us what hot lines are around this racetrack. So we will find the 51 machine. See where he's lined up. All the way down the inside, Payson Johnson. Very interesting. Just outside of him, Bryce Whelan on the 45, Logan Lights on the 16, Trevor Burns on the 28, Tyron Tomich on the 42, and the rest of the field. Here we go, 450 Heat 1 in Anaheim. Oh, Leitzel hits the gate on the 16. It's not a great jump for Johnson, but he'll be able to control the inside here as everybody pushes wide. Actually comes out very well in second place. Jacob Hubbard picks up the whole shot here in 450 Heat 1. Trevor Burns there in third place as Johnson moves into second early on. He's going to try to go for the lead. Doolies over the triple on the first lap of the race. Hubbard trying to maintain the position, at least for the time being. A little mistake, though. They're crossing up lines. Look at that huge quad single to the corner for both of them, but Johnson goes down, or excuse me, Hubbard goes down, and Johnson takes over the race lead. Wow, I didn't actually expect to see that quad right there. Wasn't sure if the 450 guys would be able to get that through that section. What a save by Payson Johnson. Hopping through the whoops. He actually is going to get some cuts out of that, though. So Johnson into the early lead here. It's Trevor Burns moving into second place. And how about it? From hitting the gate to third at the end of lap 1, Logan Leitzel on the 16 is right there in the mix. So let's see if Johnson can establish a little bit of a gap, see what maybe he's doing. I'd be keen to know if out of this corner, if he's going double quad onto the table off. I thought somebody might be able to do it, and he is. Quad on off. Unbelievable. Yeah, nobody behind him doing it because they're all catching air off of the table over single. So what else does Johnson have? That is incredible. I thought someone might have the pop for it, but I really didn't think it would be a race line. Johnson triples right here. Didn't quite get that landing cleaner. I would assume he'd go quad there. And then this is the other line right here. Triple in and then quad. Yeah, he's got that as well. Wow, Payson Johnson. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, what is this lap time going to be? This is dang near a qualifying lap. Can't believe that quad on off, though. That is ridiculous. The speed that you have to carry across to do that line right there. So let's see what he puts down right here. 104.4. First lap through. Incredible. Remember, he was the only one in the 103s. And I believe the second fastest time was a 104.7. So there you go. That is ridiculous. Look at the time he's already gained on Burns. Leitzel back there. Is he still going to consistently do this line? Yeah. Kind of making it look too easy, honestly, if I'm being honest. That is kind of ridiculous. Is anybody else even trying it? Trent Adams? Nick Tomasunis there inside the top 5. Bob Joe back here holding strong. Dennis Fjellberg. Jack Haley. Oh, Cavacuti. No, I think... Wait a minute. Oh, so he went... Excuse me. He went double 4 right there, I believe. Or double 5? I don't know. That was kind of huge. Jacob Hubbard slipped back here. Ash Deering. So it looks like Cavacuti is rounding out our top 9 transfer spots right now. Jack Haley, Dennis Fjellberg in a bit of a line here. Right behind Bob Joe. This 450 class, though, man, is it nuts. You have to go all the way back to 8th in a heat race, where basically straight up, the 2019 Supercross champion is battling hard for 7th against the 2014 250 national champion, Dennis Fjellberg. Is going to get the line right there on the inside. Those two look like they might be teammates. Kind of dualies right there. I respect it. But they're actually on different teams. The Jack Daniels Racing number 2 there of Jack Haley and the Phil Ski and Snowboard number 3 of Dennis Fjellberg. They are all going to get around the 43 of Trent Adams, who is just down. So none of this is for a transfer spot just yet. As everybody's kind of figuring stuff out. Back to our race leader, Payson Johnson, checking in. Almost 4 minutes into this, he has now got a 7-second lead on Trevor Burns. And I don't believe Trevor Burns has fallen on the ground once. This is just raw speed out of Johnson. Man, I wonder if after last week, we saw Johnson, he was arguably the fastest guy on the track, but he crashed twice. One of them was not his fault, though. And I almost wonder if he went back to the drawing board a little bit this week. Maybe he worked on some settings. Maybe he just worked on flat speed. Maybe he worked on those main event mistakes, because this looks like a new Payson Johnson in this 450 class that we did not quite see last week. And his pace out front looking very strong. Coming back here to Anaheim, though, where he missed the main event at the opening round in a very frustrating manner. Just was a little mistake in his heat race, put him outside of qualifying, then went to the LCQ. Bad start. Didn't go to the main. That's all it takes to, at least so far, kind of ruin his championship. So he is going to try to get back into the swing of things. Trevor Burns, Nick Tomasunis has now moved into 3rd place. Great ride for the MXLocker.com number 69. We got some Nick Tomasunis fans always hanging out in the chat. So I'm sure they are glad to see their man moving up into the top 3, and right now solidly in a transfer spot towards the main event. Only got a couple laps left to make it happen, too. Logan Leitzel there in 4th. Jack Haley has now fought his way into 5th. He's bringing Bob Joe with him. Joe runs in 6th. Trent Adams in 7th. Dennis Fjellberg back to 8th. And Seth Garrett, for the time being, is holding on to the final transfer spot. He's got a nice gap working back to Dylan Cavacuti, Byron Downen, Braden Tharp, and Jacob Hubbard, all kind of nose to tail. Tyler Shields a little bit off of them. Remember, Shields is currently still top 10 in points after that incredible podium finish at the opener. And followed it up with a pretty good ride at Oakland, but then missed the main event last week in San Diego. So having to go to the LCQ again, not going to be where the 86 Phil Ski and Snowboard Honda rider wants to go. Looking at this battle here between Bob Joe and the 43 of Trent Adams. Oh, mistake. Bob Joe is going to jump off the track. Safe tracker entry here. Nicely done in the end. And was able to maintain position. And Trent Adams just tailing the 91 here. White flag has waved for our race leader. Adams down the inside, gets that inside rudder hooked very well, and moves around Bob Joe. Here is the aforementioned race leader, though. Payson Johnson, I was just about to say, hasn't put a foot wrong, but then Cases, that triple out right there, even so, really hasn't put much of a foot wrong in this heat race. Aside from not getting the best jump off of the gate, he's done just about everything else picture perfect. Hit all the big lines. Seemingly no problem. Established a huge race lead pretty early on. And he is going to reap the benefits of that now. Heading to the finish line. 2 corners to go, and this is the Right way to start off his night. 2 weeks ago in Anaheim, he was not making the main event, but now, back of the vengeance, Payson Johnson wins 450 Heat 1 here at A2. It's Trevor Burns there in second. Leitzel has moved back into third place around Tomasunis, but Tomasunis is still comfortable here in fourth. He will stay there. Jack Haley in fifth. Trent Adams sixth. Seth Garrett up to seventh. Bob Joe in eighth. Oh, battle for the final transfer spot. Fjellberg, Shields, and Hubbard. Teammates, all three of them. Phil's Honda riders just trying to get into ninth, but only one can make it. Fjellberg is in that spot right now. He's trying to hold on for one more corner. And the Norwegian rider goes through in ninth. Shields, Hubbard miss out. Cavacuti, Tomic, Tharp, Copeland, Mullins, Downen, Whelan, Deering, Castellaneta. All those guys not going through. But it was this man right here, Payson Johnson, picking up the dub in 450 Heat 1. Waiting for the rest of the runners to come through. And we'll get those penalties applied. There we go. See if anything changed inside of our top 9. Yes, Dennis Fjellberg, just like we saw in the 250 heat race a moment ago. Dennis Fjellberg gets booted to the LCQ and advances Tyler Shields through. Fjellberg had 1.47 seconds of cuts. Shields to the main, Fjellberg to the LCQ. Incredible. All right, back in studio again. Kellen Brower in the booth, ready to go for 450 heat number 2. Hopefully you guys are having a good night here at the races so far. I know I am. This has been a lot of fun to watch these guys battle it out so far. And we're really just getting started. We've still got a lot of racing left to go. Always 8 races on the docket, and we're coming up to race number 4 of 8 tonight. But of course, the main event's kind of what we're working towards right now. That's where the points are paid. But heat races have looked fun so far. The LCQs will be a lot of fun as well to see who transfers through out of that. And then those main events, probably we're about like 25 to 30 minutes now away from those main events coming up. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see how those shake down a little bit later on tonight. But like I said, we got to get through 450 heat number 2. Coming up next, we will see both Alexis Leclerc and Braden Carter, and third in the championship, Colby Eagland, in this heat race. The heat races are not determined based on championship position. They are determined based on qualifying position. So the way that the cards were stacked here tonight, based on offsetting qualifying times, it looks like that Carter and Leclerc ended up in the same heat race. And Eagland, who was right in the thick of that battle last week as well, also in this heat race. So yeah, this is going to be a good one to watch, kind of similar to what we saw in the 250 heat number 2, where we saw all 3 of our winners so far this year. Well, all 2 of our winners end up in the same heat race in 450 heat 2, but third in the championship is also here, so going to be fun to see kind of who comes out on top and who can maybe do something against Payson Johnson tonight, because he clearly just ran probably the fastest heat race we're going to see all year. And yeah, going to be good to watch. Let's see what's going on in the chat. All right, reconnect real quick. Oh, thank you, DOE, excuse me. I really appreciate that. I hope one day I end up in the broadcast booth. It'd be a lot of fun, whether it's Nationals, GP, Supercross, or if I stay here the rest of my career. I'm honestly happy with it all. It's a lot of fun broadcasting these races for you guys. Happy birthday, Jay-Z Joker, by the way. He wants Lang to get the win tonight. He is praying for a Lang victory on his birthday. Who do I think will win the 250 main? I think the rider who gets to the checkered flag first is going to win it. There is the man of the hour, though, Alexis Leclerc. Man, I really thought coming into this championship we were not going to see Leclerc anymore after everything he went through at the opening round of the championship last year, leading the championship into the final moto of the year, then lapped riders for position. Just about everybody you could think of put him on the ground, which pushed him back to Tyler Lang, gave Tyler Lang the position to win the championship, and then Leclerc got taken down again after that. And I don't think anybody blamed him at that point for then rage quitting the second moto at Hangtown. It's kind of an embarrassing moment for MX Simulator competitive racing, and don't think many people would have blamed Leclerc one bit had he not come back to racing this series. But he's back, and he's leading the championship through 2 rounds so far, or 3 rounds, excuse me. So, yeah, kind of crazy how it's all shaked out so far. And we'll see what he's able to do here tonight at A2. Who shall we watch on the start? Of course, Leclerc is always going to get a good start. How about we watch Jeremy Seebold? I feel like he'll end up kind of middle inside here. Yeah, perfect. Right there alongside his teammate Ethan Gerst on the inside. Chase Blakely to the outside. 30 card goes sideways. The revs go up. Let's drop the gate in Anaheim. Not a great start for Seebold. A great start for Braden Carter up the inside. He and Leclerc kind of came together and got pushed wide. So Chase Blakely actually squeezed through, grabbed the whole shot. He goes down in the middle of the second rhythm section, and Speck takes over the race lead. Caden Speck from Robert Wilson. Adam Holm inside the top 3. Caleb Hall moves into 3rd, jumping over top as Leclerc tries to go to the outside there of Robert Wilson to move into 4th. Also going to go to 3rd, perhaps, as Caleb Hall made a mistake. No, Wilson fighting back up the inside. Leclerc couldn't quite get a nose just yet, so he'll slip back to 4th now as Caden Speck leads the race in the early runnings. Adam Holm, haven't seen much of the good Adam Holm yet this year. We know how capable of winning these races Adam Holm is on that number 17 atom.com gas, but he just hasn't really gotten good starts or been able to run up front and show it. So now in this heat race, we'll see what he's able to do with a good start. Oh, Caden Speck, OJ's the triple and goes down. So through into the race lead goes Adam Holm. Caleb Hall into 2nd, Leclerc to 3rd. Robert Wilson now up into 4th. T-Lang side by side with, I think, Gerst in the background. Wow, Caleb Hall gave Alexis Leclerc a lot of room on the outside right there. And Leclerc says, thank you very much. I'll just move by into 2nd place. Wilson tries to cut underneath. Different rhythm options through here. We'll see which one works best. Well, nobody actually really got the double, triple clean. Jeremy Seebold in the mix right there, almost getting together with 33 of Caleb Hall. T-Lang and Seebold trying to jump past Caleb Hall. Now they're going to get it done. They're just, at the moment at least, trying to mark where Leclerc is. Wow, Braden Carter 16th for the defending champion. Not good right now. Look at this freight train of riders, though. Oh, big crash. Seebold gets into Robert Wilson. Wilson hits the deck, and riders scatter in all directions. Here comes Carter through the whoops as Wilson gets kind of booped from behind again. Oh, Carter almost got taken down by Robert Wilson going down again. Carter gets stacked up in the berm here with Blakely and the 185 machine. Wow, 185 puts him over the berm. Enzo Buttigni. And then Carter got hit from behind going over the finish line jump, so he just went down. Carter getting tossed around like a wet salad over here. And also off the track, wow, 2nd fastest qualifier, Jaden Wilson. So Braden Carter, he's got a lot of work to do. As race leader Adam Holm now dealing with pressure from Alexis Leclerc. Holm kind of bouncing through the whoops, allowing Leclerc to close up. Leclerc gets that inside very smoothly in the sand. In and out of this bowl corner, coming up to the finish line. Jump a little bit past halfway mark in terms of race time right now. And Adam Holm has Alexis Leclerc right on his heels, dealing with that pressure. Oh, Leclerc hopping through the whoops a little bit. Uncharacteristic for him of late. He has not been one to really struggle in the whoop sections. Just trying to get things kind of moving, I think. It's Seebold back here in 3rd with T-Lang up into 4th and Dakota French rounding out our top 5. We're trying to keep tabs. I see Braden Carter entering the whoops in the background. He's trying to catch Blakely, so he's up to 16th. As Leclerc has once again caught Adam Holm. Oh, Holm hopping through the whoops. Nice save, but Leclerc's going to get to the inside, make the pass into the race lead. And if history is any indication, Leclerc is likely about to take off and win this thing. But there's little chance that his TRT is better than Payson Johnson at this point, given that he's had to come forward and made a lot of mistakes doing so. So second gate pick for the main event is all he'll be able to hope for as Ethan Gerst goes up the inside to move into, I think that's 7th right there. No, 6th actually on Caleb Hall. So Hall back to 7th. Caden Speck in 8th. Austin Eklund is in 9th now with Matthias Janis in 10th. Oh, Eklund down out of 9th. So Janis moves up into the final transfer spot. Ethan Parks. Wow, how did those guys not go down? They basically just tire tapped on the way out. Wow, actually, this is Colby Eaglin now behind Ethan Parks. Oh, riders going down the other way. Oh, a lot of riders down. That's Gerst stood up with Janis. Those guys all split the difference and make it by. Eaglin just gained 5 positions up to 7th. Parks goes to 8th. Janis to 9th. That is going to help out Braden Carter a ton if these guys get together. Speck goes down. And here comes Carter right there. He's into him, though. Carter. Oh, didn't get any help from his spotter whatsoever. Usually when you have that much time, you're able to tell someone down left, but no help whatsoever, and that is going to cost him potentially a shot at a transfer spot. More riders down. Dakota French hitting the deck. He is going to get up just out of transfer spot in 10th, so Gerst moves up to 9th. And these guys are not out of the woods yet. Janis shorts the triple. Gerst thought about an inside move, but backed out of the challenge. Oh, Parks on the 147. What a save. Gonna drop back to 8th. Now back to 7th. Janis made a little mistake. Gerst pulls up alongside. Everybody's got problems right now. 3 wide into the corner. Dakota French is closed up. Might actually have a shot on Eagland. Excuse me, on Gerst, and he will get around Ethan Gerst. So final transfer spot has switched again. Dakota French is in, but Gerst goes back through. Dakota French up the inside for 9th. Oh, what a cut under by Gerst, and they get together. It's a slow race to the next corner. It's not even the last lap yet. Up to the inside, here's Brandon Holmes, and he absolutely lays out Dakota French. Here comes Carter, though. This is the real catalyst in this kind of soiree that we're seeing. Parks just went down, and Carter still has a shot at making it in. Oh, Parksy goes down, and he brings down Carter with him. That might spell an end to Carter's opportunity. Oh, Gerst is down after the whoops. Carter's going to get in because everybody's crashed. So Carter into 9th on the last lap of the race. What the heck just happened? Meanwhile, out front, Leclerc, small gap as T-Lane closed it down in the end. But Leclerc just got one more corner to go, and he will be in. These two playing a little bit of slow race to the corner. Leclerc wins 450 Heat 2. Home from Lang in 2nd and 3rd. Seabolt 4th. Eagland was 5th, but he just stuck to front end, so Caleb Hall goes to 5th. Eagland will be 6th. Janis 7th. Holmes 8th. And Carter into 9th. Dakota French trying to give it one last run. Carter! Oh, he got sketchy in the whoops, and Janis was down. Dakota French is right there. Let's see if he sends it. Trying to get a drive across the start straight into the final corner. Oh, he went for it, but he missed. Ends up in the opposite lane. Janis goes through. Eklund will end up in 10th. French will get 11th. 12th for Gerst. 13th Jackson. 14th for Parks. 15th for Robert Wilson. Caden Speck in 16th. Blakely 17th. Roy Mitchell down in 18th. Enzo Butigny in 19th. Jaden Wilson in 20th. As we will wait for the cuts to come through. Wow. What a race, though. That is won by this man, Alexis Leclerc. Waiting for a couple more guys to cross the line. All right, let's take a look at those cuts. And they all stay the same. Janice goes through in 9th. Leclerc, your big winner here. 450 heat number 2. All right. Well, now it's time for the LCQs. And the LCQs we know are oh so fun. Just a lot of fun. Because anything can happen in these LCQs. We got 4 riders trying to make the main event from 22. And it is pure chaos like 9 out of 10 times. And there's a chance we don't see pure chaos, but I'm sure we're going to see at least some fun in either this 250 or the 450 LCQ coming up. Can't wait to see it. Jump back into studio real quick. Kellen Brower in the booth bringing you guys the action tonight. Want to give a quick shout out to this man right here, Jerry Robin. Signed that jersey last weekend in San Diego. Behind me, wore that absolutely dope canvas MX gear and had a really sick setup as well to go with it on his bike. Actually shot me a text to say thanks for putting the jersey up. So I wanted to give a shout out to him because thank you, Mr. Jerry, for giving me that jersey in the first place. It's absolutely rad. Here, look, I'll pull it down real quick so you guys can see it. Look at this. How sick is this? This is like Padres themed canvas gear. Shout out to sponsors real quick. FCC Motorsports, SKDA, and then of course signed it on the back. So yeah, Jerry. Sometimes he's a little bit rough for your fantasy team, but Jerry's a good dude, and I really appreciate everything that he's done for me over the years. And hopefully he feels I've reciprocated it a little bit, giving him some love on Racer X. I got to go film with him too, as a thank you for that jersey, because that was dope that he did that for me. So I certainly appreciate it. Get back in server here and catch up with what's going on. But yeah, that jersey is sick. I also see Andrew Maroney here in chat with us as well. Don't worry, A. Maroney, I still got your jersey. It is hung up elsewhere, though. I'm giving Jerry some love right now. I got jerseys spread around the room, so but appreciate you for your jersey. Do you know any weird sim commands, kind of like select gate over there? It's a good question. There's a lot of sim commands people don't know or have never used before. So let me see if I could try to remember a couple of them real quick here before we get this race started in the LCQ. I know, so like you're saying server comma gate. For those of you that have never selected your gate before, it's all based on a command system. So you type stuff into chat. So your chat command is your T button, so it pulls up chat, and then you just do server comma gate, like, I don't know, I want gate 7, so it'll put me at gate 7 if I get loaded into the race. Otherwise, it just puts you at gate 1 in warm-up mode. You can do like / toggle speed, which will show your speed up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. So that's right up here, as you can see in my little thing in the upper left-hand corner that shows you your speed. What was it? It's like / toggle graphs or something like that, isn't it? Toggle graph. Yeah, suspension graph. So then this shows you your suspension on the bottom of the screen here. So as I move, it shows you your suspension. So you could do that. I'm going to turn that back off. It's a lot of different ones that you can use. Yeah, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Maybe you guys didn't know those settings before. So get ready to drop the gate here in the LCQ. Who is going to go through out of this one? This is going to be fun. Who do I think the best riders to never win an actual main are? Like, in real life or in sim are you talking about? I mean, I feel like if it's sim, could I make the list? I did win a national once, or national moto, but never won a main event. Won an EMF main event. I won 2 of them, actually, in the 450 class. All right, here we go. 250 last chance qualifier. 30 card is going to go sideways, and 18 people are going home unhappy. Who's going to the main event right now? Well, it's Pinkerton who gets to the inside. Vanderbeek swung a little bit wide and actually got completely stopped in the corner. But it's Pinkerton in the lead. Is Nygren up the inside, I think, of Thorson. Kind of a little bit of a stack up in the second corner. A bit of a pile-up caused there. Pinkerton, Thorson, Nygren, and Brandon Wolf. In the front early on, Juan Gomez back here on the 55. Seth Harnischfeger, Jack Gatlin. We got a rider down. We got a couple riders down. Brandon Wolf was down out of, I think, 3rd place and caused a little pile-up right there. So resetting things. Pinkerton from Thorson. Nygren And Juan Gomez inside the top 4 right now as Thorson got a little sideways. So everybody's kind of settled down after the first lap. This is huge for Pinkerton. Pinkerton, great at starts, obviously. He gets really good starts in this 250 class. Whole shot, a couple main events so far this year. So good in LCQ. The one thing that you need to rely on is getting good starts, and Pinkerton has got those dialed. So he's out front holding on strong with the race lead. Thorson able to get around, back around I should say, Brandon Nygren. They swap positions, but now back ahead into second position. Nygren there in third, and Seth Harnischweger on the JNP Honda running in fourth. Daniel Irvine, Alex Heckman, those guys are trying to close up, as is Trevor Spencer, Reese Harris. Remember Harris battling for a podium even last week. Pinkerton down, Ryan Pinkerton off the side of the track on the 58. That coughs up the lead to Thorson. Nygren goes up to second. Battle for the lead is starting to brew. Harnischweger, but Irvine now into the final transfer spot. But look at this train of riders behind him as Heckman almost goes to the front door into the sand section. Up and over that finish line, jump, and then crossing back over the start straight. Irvine scrubbing the triple, trying to get to the outside of Seth Harnischweger. Now cuts to the inside. That doesn't quite work just yet. Look at all these guys trying to jockey for position. Irvine up the inside to get into third. Lays it down. Contact. And he goes down. He was a little overzealous. So Harnischweger holds the spot, but here comes Heckman to the inside to move into third. And he gets it done. So Heckman up to third. Harnischweger drops back to fourth. Now coming up to the outside. Pinkerton side by side with Trevor Spencer. Jumps off the track. And now Spencer goes down on the on-off. Pinkerton just avoids him. Almost over the bars. Reese Harris trying to close up. Boy, oh boy. So Thorson leads. Nygren second. Heckman through the whoops in third. And Harnischweger holding on to fourth. But here comes Ryan Pinkerton, your early race leader. Time starting to wind down a little bit in this LCQ. Up and over that finish line jump. Pinkerton is closed up on Harnischweger here in these last couple of corners. Perhaps the whoop section will be the spot where he gets his drive. Let's see if he lines it up. Gets on top of him pretty good, but actually starts bouncing halfway through, loses some drive. And Harnischweger holding on for the time being. Really solid riding out of the 933 JNP Honda. Can Pinkerton find a way through though? 4 minutes on the clock. Pinkerton swings through. Does he go over? No, just electing to go on off, but Harnischweger makes a mistake. Doesn't get the preferred option, and that is going to be all Pinkerton needs to just hop on by like a little bunny rabbit. So into the final transfer spot he goes. Harnischweger now dealing with pressure from the 57 of Trevor Spencer. Spencer up the inside, Harnischweger into the tough blocks and through the mechanics area. Oh, I thought he was going to light him up there. Certainly cut back underneath. Oh, Heckman, a little mistake there in the background. He survived the whoops, though. Scaring me. Sometimes it's tough to be a team owner watching your team riders try to make it out of an LCQ. Uh-oh, 55 off the side of the track. Rejoins, but I guess he was a lap down. Trevor Spencer's trying to close up on Pinkerton. It's actually got the gap down a little bit, 1.5. And Heckman just made a mistake in front of these guys, so Pinkerton going to jump to the inside and move into third. Now Heckman on the bubble as the white flag is about to wave this time by. Got to take a deep breath if you're any one of these guys here and try to settle into some form of a pace. Uh-oh, here we go. 57 to Trevor Spencer. Got a great drive through the sand. Let's see how he gets out of this corner. Pretty good. Not quite close enough to get to the inside of Heckman for 4th just yet. Up and over the finish line jump. 1 lap to go. It is about to get spicy for this final transfer spot in the last chance qualifier. Spencer, a great drive through the whoops to the outside. Heckman gets into him, then they both slide out, but Spencer stays up. Heckman got into his swing arm, and it just kind of dragged him to the ground. But now Spencer makes a huge mistake. Here comes Harnischweger. And Chris Post also putting Heckman on the ground, so it's down to one of those two guys trying to make it up to Spencer here on the last lap. Pinkerton has gotten away. Nygren comfortably up here. And now Tanner Thorson, one more spin through the whoops and he'll be good to go. Down past the mechanics area, cutting back across. Tanner Thorson, your 250 last chance qualifier winner. Nygren 2nd, Ryan Pinkerton 3rd, and Spencer looks like he will hold on for 4th. So Spencer goes through. Harnischweger just misses out. Schwertner also missing out. Heckman. Jack Gatlin doesn't go through. Irvine. Brandon Wolf. Miljkovic. Hewen. Blowers. Gable. Post. Vanderbeek. Paolini. Joey Arico. Juan Gomez. Matt Cromie. Matt Cromie not too happy. Reese Harris. Blake O'Brien. Who's Matt Cromie not happy with here? Not happy with Jack Gatlin for some reason. Not sure what's going on there. All right, so as we wait for those riders to finish up, Tanner Thorson has won the 250 last chance qualifier. One more rider to cross and we'll get those cuts just to confirm it. And indeed it does. Thorson, Nygren, Pinkerton, Spencer going through to the main event. All right, 450 LCQ time. Can't English right now. Coming up next. And yeah. Little spicy there in the 250 class. Could have been spicier. That's all right. We'll drop a ghost pepper on this 450 LCQ and see some real fun. There's some guys in this championship fight, or at least for the top 10 picture that are in this 450 LCQ coming up that are going to be very disappointed if they go home. So those will be the ones to watch for sure in this one. Toggle decals. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that one. Yeah, toggle time is kind of the base one. / toggle time shows you the time in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, so you know how deep into a 30-minute moto you are. Some people don't like to run that, just because if you know how deep into a moto you are, you might relax, or maybe you'll ride harder, and that throws your rhythm off, so some people leave that all off. They don't show gaps to them and stuff like that. Myself, I always use toggle time just because I felt like I needed it to know when I could push or when I shouldn't. Show the M toggle graph. I did the toggle graph thing. I actually don't know what toggle decals are. Yeah, that's Jerry Robbins' jersey right there. We just showed it off a little bit a moment ago. Really cool jersey, and very much appreciative of him that he chose me of all people to sign and give to. I'm a huge San Diego Padres fan, in case you didn't know. So that San Diego Padres themed gear back there was super dope for me to get, and pretty special that Jerry wanted to give it to me. So huge shout out to J-Rob. And heard that he's running a little bit of Anaheim Ducks themed setup this weekend, which I think is going to be sick. I think that color scheme is going to go really well together. Like the Anaheim Ducks, it's like kind of that like teal with like a little bit of orange, and I think they have some yellow in there too. Like it's just kind of all over the place, but it looks really cool when you kind of combine it and make the Ducks outfit. So yeah, gonna be cool to see the setup he's got this weekend. I forget what he's doing. Oh, A3 is gonna be Lakers themed, I believe. I forget what he said he's doing for Glendale. All right. Fjellberg, Hubbard, Castellaneta, Ash Deering, Tyron Tomic, Austin Eklund, Ethan Gerst, Chase Blakely, Copeland, Whelan, Roy Mitchell, Del Mullins, Byron Downen, Braden Tharp, Frank Jackson, Dakota French, Caden Speck, Enzo Butigny, and Ethan Parks go to the line here for the 450 last chance qualifier. Toggle decals turns the decals completely off. I never knew that. Learn something new every year. I've had this game for 12 years. Didn't even know toggle decals, so there you go. There's actually somewhere on the forums, I'll need to dig, but there's actually someone made a list of all the chat commands that you can use in game. And there's a lot of ones that people do not ever use, but they're actually kind of cool. So I need to go find that, maybe do a video on it. All right. Here we go, 450 last chance qualifier. It's get nervous time for a lot of people on this gate. They have got to make it through to this main event. And it all happens right here, 450 LCQ in Anaheim. Pretty good jump from one of the stock Huskies in the middle. Caden Speck blows through the first turn, and Jacob Hubbard comes out with the whole shot. So it's Hubbard from Fjellberg right in the mix early on. Gerst and Robert Wilson also with good starts up inside the top four. It's Hubbard leading early on, though. Fjellberg settles into second. Gerst right there in third. And let's see how quickly our top four can maybe establish a bit of a gap. It looks like perhaps Robert Wilson went down and gifted Tyron Tomic a spot. And now Fjellberg just went down. He got dragged to the ground there. He was down already. Then Gerst went by and took him all the way to the ground. Tomic moves up to third. Dylan Copeland now into the final transfer spot with Austin Eklund, Ethan Parks coming through. So Fjellberg actually didn't lose as much as he probably should have for going down that early into the race. A lot of guys getting stacked up there in the background already. So Copeland into the final transfer spot early on. Oh, Hubbard, our leader's gone down. Hubbard hits the net. Gerst goes by. There goes Tomic. And coming through to move into the final transfer spot now is Eklund. Eklund coming through with Copeland as Parks moves into fifth, and Hubbard slips back to sixth, and legs off crash there for Parks. So Fjellberg goes by. One of the stock Husky riders goes by, and plowing into him, Enzo Butigny coming in like an absolute lawn dart. But it is Ethan Gerst who has gone to the race lead now. So Gerst on the 29 Panini Motorsports Yamaha, hopping through the whoops a little bit there, takes it over. Tyron Tomic, a little bit of chaos going on in the background here. Copeland, Hubbard, Eklund getting a little bit together, and this is all for two transfer spots. Eklund outside looking in, but might cut back underneath and get a spot here on Hubbard. Hubbard trying to get around Copeland on the 63. They're just kind of going back and forth right now in these corners. Hubbard trying to scrub to the outside, then cut back underneath into the whoop section here. Pretty good drive, but that's the same thing that caused him to go down a lap ago. Inside move, try to get the pass for the third position there. Doesn't quite get it. Now jumps off the track and loses a transfer. So perhaps being a bit overzealous there. Allows Eklund on by. Eklund hopping over the table, gets a great drive through this rhythm section. Is going to take advantage to go to the inside of Dylan Copeland and make the pass for third. Try to hold Copeland up in the corner so D-Cope couldn't triple in. Kind of worked to perfection, but D-Cope trying to come back in the next corner. Eklund getting a little bit wild into the turn, and Copeland comes to the outside to try to move back into the third. Here comes Hubbard into fourth. Hubbard now to the inside, tries to pass Eklund back for third. Doesn't quite get there. And Copeland just settles back in there now. So the front two have gone at this point. Transfer line. Hubbard tried to land down the inside after the finish line jump, but landed on flat ground and almost fell off the bike. So Copeland goes back into fourth. As Hubbard, much better drive through the whoops that time by trying to close up. Let's see if he gets to the inside in this turn right here. Not quite. Copeland holding on. Both of them try to triple in, but Hubbard short, loses him a lot of time right there. So things have kind of settled for the moment, at least. Tomic, Gerst, Eklund, Copeland. Jacob Hubbard trying to close up and make the pass on D-Cope for the final transfer spot. Getting close again. There's going to be 2 to go this time by for these guys. Up and over that finish line jump. When or where does Hubbard even have an opportunity? No! D-Cope down after the triple. It looks as though he perhaps OJ'd and had an insta fall off. And that is going to open up the gap massively to Hubbard in 4th. Eklund, Gerst, with Tomic leading the race, looking like he's going to be comfortably leading this one down the stretch. The rider out of Australia on the number 42 CV Suzuki. Looks like he is well on his way to a last chance qualifier victory. He's going to pick up the white flag this time by. Ethan Gerst there in 2nd. Eklund 3rd. Hubbard 4th. And D-Cope has dropped way back here in 5th after that. After that crash on the Supercross triple, so is going to need a lot of help. Dale Mullins still lurking back here. All these guys, I guess if something happens, are going to be back here. Well, Eklund just went down in the whoops. It's going to get going. If he goes down again, which, hey, I mean, he's not really fully up just yet. These guys are going to have a real shot. But I wonder if Mullins tries to make a pass on D-Cope just to get into 5th and perhaps takes them both down. Yeah, here we go. Inside. He's going to make it stick, or is he? Crossing back over, bar to bar. Oh, doolies. D-Mole upside down alongside D. Cope crosses back under. Doesn't matter at all right now. They're not in transfer spot. But just in case something happens to Austin Eklund here, as Tomic takes the win out front through the whoops one more time. Gerst is good. Hubbard is good. Eklund hopping a little bit, but he's good to go. So this should be all she wrote at that point, unless these guys clean each other out in the last turn. To the line. Woo! That was close. .002. Eklund 4th, though. Gonna make it to the main event. Fjellberg not going to the main event here in Anaheim. Nor will D-Cope, Ethan Parks, Ash Deering, Dale Mullins, Bryce Whelan, Dylan Cavacuti, Roy Mitchell, Byron Downen, Robert Wilson, Dakota French, Braden Castellaneta, Chase Blakely, Braden Tharp, Enzo Butigny, Frank Jackson, and Caden Speck. Oh, double back. Oh, Cavacuti almost landed that. That was sick. Big winner in this one, though. Is it Tyron or Tyron Tomic? I call him Tyron. I guess it's probably pronounced Tyron because that's what his forum name is, but I don't know. Been saying it wrong this whole time. It is what it is. All right, main event time coming up here, and I actually got something kind of cool that I worked on this week. It's the timer that we use for the outdoors, so you guys could keep track of how long the main events were. We got it back. But I got to take off the timers right now, and I'll turn on the 250 timer when we're about to drop the gate for the main event. So for right now, let's get back in the studio. Kellen Brower in the booth, bringing you guys the action here at round 4 of the MotoOption Supercross Series. Live here, Anaheim. Anaheim 2 it is. This West Coast swing, we're about halfway through it now. And this is going to be a great 4th round of the 250 West Championship. We've had 3 different winners in 3 different rounds in the 250 class, and none of them are your current championship leader. Casey Cochran still does not have a win to his credit, but he does have the points lead working for him, and he's been consistent throughout so far. Looked strong earlier on this evening. Perhaps tonight could be the night that he stamps his name on the winner's docket, or will we have a rebound week? Luke Sullivan, he won Anaheim 1. Perhaps Anaheim, maybe he's feeling the good vibes. Maybe he'll come out swinging here tonight in this 250 main event. Who knows? But I do know that this 250 main will be a lot of fun to watch because these guys so far this year have made some tremendous races for us to watch in both classes. 450 main last week was sick. If you haven't watched it, I'd recommend going back and watching the San Diego 450 main event from a week ago after we are done here tonight. But it's main event time. This is where the points are paid. This is where these guys have been trying to get all week long. The testing with their suspension, doing the motos during the week, getting ready to race here tonight. All that pressure build up to then make it through the heat races or the LCQ into these main events. This is where it comes down to, folks. This is what these guys want. This is what they are after. And this is where the points are paid out. So, let's get you guys a quick rundown here of who's on the gate here tonight. Aaron Rockefeller, Brandon Nygren, Tyson Johnson, Trevor Spencer, Seth Karate, Emmett Sund, Holden Coate, Ryan Swanson, JR Reyes, Daniel Mills, Kyle Carpenter, Tanner Thorson, Seth Shirley, Luke Magnetti, Alec Horn, Johan Bordeaux, last week's winner, Luke Sullivan, round 1 winner, Rasmus Balzer, the fastest qualifier, Jed Holyhead, second fastest qualifier, your championship leader, Casey Cochran, and whole shot hero Ryan Pinkerton. And of course, I cannot forget Oakland winner Luke Magnetti. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's just about time to drop the gate here tonight at Anaheim 2 for the MX Simulator MotoOption Supercross Series Round 4 of the 250 West Championship. Who you got? Who is coming out on top? Will it be Magnetti? Will it be Sullivan? Will it be Bordeaux? Will it be Holden Coate or Alec Horn? Will it be Casey Cochran? I have literally no idea, and this is about to be a lot of fun. All right, let's make sure this 250 timer, we get it up. Take a look at Casey Cochran. Get that timer started. 15 minutes plus a lap for round 4 of the 2022 250 West Championship in MX Simulator. Let's drop the gate again in Anaheim. Oh, Cochran's got a pretty good jump. It's his teammate Pinkerton who gets to the corner first, but Casey Cochran picks up the RaceDirectorGaming.com whole shot award. It's Wilcox to the inside in the second corner. Wilcox takes over the race lead. Side by side, Luke Magnetti trying to move into second place, does so, and over top the 15 of D. Mills gets into third. Cochran back to 4th as Mills swings to the outside, gets past again, and Cochran goes to 3rd, now back to maybe 2nd as Magnetti makes a couple mistakes. They're all chasing Thomas Wilcox. Hometown race for the Phil Ski and Snowboard backed by C4 Designs number 22 Honda from the high desert in Southern California. Just down the road is Anaheim, and he would love to win here tonight at Angel Stadium. He leads the way early on. D-Mills up in the second with Magnetti trying to give chase in third. So Cochran, a couple early mistakes, slips back to 4th. And the rest of the field has been left to sort it amongst themselves in the early laps. What a bonus it is for Wilcox to get some early laps out front and try to control this race. Hopping through the whoops a little bit, almost to the front, but down behind D-Mills, out of second. Let's see, everybody gets by cleanly. Oh, another crash. That looks like it might be Nygren on the atom.com gas. And Mills gets going there behind Holden Coate, so he's now back to 7th. That promotes everybody in front of him up a spot as Swanson gives a little bit of a boot there from Jet Holyhead. Your second fastest qualifier on the Covenant, number 15. Well, Wilcox is leading this thing, but Luke Magnetti is coming, folks. The number 19 Adept Creative Co. machine trying to close this gap down. And remember, Magnetti, the winner at Oakland, has been a little bit hot and cold so far this year. Rough Anaheim 1. It was okay in San Diego, but he's still not right in the thick of the championship hunt because he has not been able to put these races together in back-to-back weeks. Trying to give chase to race leader Thomas Wilcox, though. And Wilcox, he's been in this position before. He knows how to win these races. He's been up front. He's won multiple motos in this 250 division. So let's see how well he can hold on to the pressure from Magnetti closing up behind him. It is Cochran still back there in third and Holyhead in fourth. Remember, Jet Holyhead, he has not won a race before, but he was faster than all of these guys in qualifying. Oh, mistake for Magnetti's down. He clipped the tabletop as he went over it, kind of kicked sideways, and then started barrel rolling on the triple takeoff. That cost him a chance at going for the race lead. He's now slipped back to fifth, it looks like, behind Ryan Swanson on the Peep.co 137. Holyhead up to third. Cochran now into second as Cochran wheelies all the way across the start straight right there. So Casey Cochran, well, Cochran won the Indy 3 Supercross a year ago in what was more or less his first full rookie season of Supercross in the game. So he knows how to win these races as well. And he's also your championship leader. He's in a great spot here early on, getting through the whoops very clean. And that gap to Thomas Wilcox out front is starting to come down. Even so, I still feel like Holyhead there in third is probably the one to watch in this group, just because speed-wise he's got a little bit more in hand compared to the other two. Look at that, over the top there for Cochran. Just getting that line really smooth and clean through here. But Wilcox seemingly got it very well out front as well, so kind of back and forth, a little bit of a yo-yo effect right now. Wilcox putting things together. And Cochran just trying to keep it close. Holyhead back there in third. They're all separated by that whoop section. Oh, little mistake, and Wilcox in and out of the mechanics area. So now it's only a half second in it between our race leaders. Now the question for Cochran here is, does he try to settle into a pace behind Wilcox and maybe wait for another mistake like we just saw, or does he want to go to the lead in a hurry? It's great in these whoops right here, but he's bouncing a little bit. Oh, what a save. That rear tire kind of started swapping on him halfway through and kind of stood it up. Bounced out of the last two whoops a little bit sideways, but collected it nicely. Wilcox not getting the triple in either of the main lines right there. So he's not going triple-triple, nor is he going double-triple-single, which is the other preferred option. Oh, Cochran got to be close. His teammate Magnetti just went down a couple laps ago, kind of doing the same thing. Hey, I'll tell you what. I told you he was lurking back here. Here comes Jet Holyhead. Fastest of this front three, and suddenly they're not really separated by the full whoop section anymore. They're separated by about 8 whoops in total among the top three. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We're in for a good one in the 250 West main event here in Anaheim. Wilcox from Cochran and Holyhead leading the way. Everybody trying to figure it out in the early runnings. Here we go into the whoop section, though. Wilcox starting to hop a little bit. Cochran with a great drive down the inside. Takes over the race lead. Casey Cochran leads in Anaheim. Now does Wilcox have something to fight back with? Look at him down the inside into this corner. And he takes it back. Cochran stood up in the corner. Holyhead into him. Holyhead gets going, still within striking distance of these guys. But Wilcox back into the race lead again. So it kind of just evened out. What we saw about 3 laps ago is pretty much exactly where we are again after the back and forth there. Good save, by the way, out of Wilcox through the whoops. He was very sideways on exit. Corralled it and was cool enough in his own head to not overreact to what Cochran was doing coming down the inside right there. So Wilcox back into the race lead. 2-second gap back to Casey Cochran. It's Balzer now up into 4th. So your fastest qualifier and second fastest qualifier are inside the top 5. Holden Cote in 5th. Alec Horn running in 6th ahead of Ryan Swanson. Brandon Nygren in 8th. Seth Crotty holds down 9th, and Aaron Rockefeller rounds out our top 10. Battle for second starting to brew. A mistake for Cochran. Holyhead is on the move. Now, where does Jet Holyhead perhaps have a better option? He was a little bit better in the whoops than Cochran that time by, but Cochran was getting through the whoops smooth until that one lap. Look at this inside move. Holyhead tries to get a nose in there. Not quite close enough, and then does the alternate option through here. Loses a bunch of time. I think that was a bit overzealous for the Aussie. I think you got to wait a little bit right there and let that move come to you just a bit more than that. Wilcox didn't quite get the rut very clean right there. Doesn't have a great drive to the whoops, so Cochran's going to close it down just a little bit here. In and out of the sand. Just trying to get that power planted. We're halfway through the main event here in Anaheim for round 4 of the 250 West action. Hey-oh, shout out Travis Marks dropping in a donation, specifically $52.90. I'm not sure if that's in reference to 52 because it's my number and 90 because it's, I don't even know, but thank you very much for the donation, and I very much appreciate it. All of that cash that you're sending my way simply goes back into PulpMX Fantasy, so we're kind of just going back and forth here at this point. But seriously, I very much appreciate it, and love when you stop by and hang out and watch these races. Uh-oh, mistake for Cochran. Holyhead gets the line very clean. This could be the opportunity for the Aussie. Look at this, cut under. They're going to be bar to bar going through this rhythm section. Who's got the better line into this corner? Well, Holyhead goes inside and puts Cochran on the ground. Wasting no time is the Aussie as he takes the 20 machine right out from underneath of Casey Cochran, drops him back to 4th, where he will stay. Holden Cote funnels in behind. Balzer moves up into 3rd place. And I'm sure Casey Cochran's not going to be thrilled about that. Oh, Holyhead, big kick on the exit of the whoops right there. It seems like these guys, it's those last 2 whoops. I'm not sure if they're bigger or if they're just starting to lose the drive perhaps a little bit in the whoops. How about Thomas Wilcox refusing to go triple through that section coming into the Supercross triple? It's like he's just telling us that he's going to go safe lines the rest of the main event. Well, so far it's worked. 2.3 second lead on Jet Holyhead. Lap 9 of the race, coming up to the 10-minute mark of this one. Wilcox leading the race here, but Jet Holyhead is lurking. The Covenant number 15 looking for his first career main event victory. Literally taking no prisoners. Casey Cochran's front wheel doesn't exist in Jet Holyhead's mind anymore, but he just made a mistake over the finish line jump. Got to be careful right there. I think he purposely went back right there to get that timing gate and not get too many cuts. That lost him some time, but back to Wilcox. I mean, talk about being steady at the front, just taking the safe lines, not going for anything big. I'm curious to see if he does it again. Does he try to triple in? Does he just double in? Yeah, double, double, double to the Supercross triple. Meanwhile, Jet Holyhead triple. That's just playing safe. Doesn't want to do anything too sketchy. Cough up the race lead. Holyhead is pushing, though. And speaking of pushing, Rasmus Balzer, your fastest qualifier, 107.5 last time by, 106.9. So Wilcox, 108.3. Right there, 1.5 seconds gained a lap for Balzer. He's 6.5 seconds off the lead right now. Don't count the Dane out of this one yet, but now he goes down just as I say that. Crashes at the end of the whoops. Here comes Cochran. He'll move back by into 3rd place. Balzer picks it up with Holden Cote now going by. Alec Horn slips through into 4th. So that is unfortunate there. Uh-oh, here we go. Lead battle is on. Not sure if Wilcox made a mistake or what happened. But Holyhead is right on his rear tire, and Wilcox down. Holyhead to the lead. Wilcox, just a slight mistake. Got the jump over the start straight all wrong. Goes down. Oh, Alec Horn and Casey Cochran getting a little bit feisty there in the background. So Holyhead now leads. This is suddenly your battle for second, though. Wilcox, Horn, Cochran, Holden Coat in a freight train with Rasmus Balzer in sixth. Boy, oh boy, if Holyhead crashes by himself right now, which doesn't seem entirely impossible, the battle for the lead will be 6 riders nose to tail. As Holden Coat jumps off the inside of the track right there. So it's Wilcox, Horn, Cochran, Coat, Balzer coming at you through the whoops right here. And down, that was Alec Horn. Alec Horn down in the sand. Weird spot to go down. Must have just tucked front end on exit. All right, so time starting to wind down a little bit in this one. We've got just over 2 minutes left on the clock before time will expire. Jet Holyhead still going for the big boy lines out front. Got to watch out. D-Mills pulls up alongside of him, putting him a lap down. I feel like right here is where Holyhead would go down if he is. Clipping that. Oh, casing. Careful. Oh, young sunshine. Got to be careful late in these races. But Wilcox sniffing that opportunity, saying, please just crash out front. Something. Well, lap traffic, they're still going to come into play a little bit here. You can't say that Holyhead is completely out of the water. 1.5 minutes left on the clock. Those guys are still lurking back there. Riders down at the exit of the whoops. This could be problems for Holyhead. Kind of hopping through them just a little bit. These lapped riders are in a deep battle. They're not wanting to let Holyhead go by. D-Mills, and I'm trying to see, is that 196 of Tyson Johnson? Heavy battle for 17th. Blue flags are a-waving, and they are not moving. If I were to go on board with D-Mills right now, you see a big old blue bar on the bottom of the screen, but he is not getting out of the way. Finally pulls aside so Holyhead can go through, but now it's under 9 seconds back to Wilcox. And if you're Holyhead here, quite honestly, I would just start packing it in and taking those easy lines that Wilcox was taking earlier on. And I think he's maybe realized that a little bit. He didn't go for the big triple before the Supercross triple this time by. Coming back across the start straight and up and over that big finish line jump. So time will expire here this time by, and Jet Holyhead on the verge of his first career main event victory in the U.S. We'll have 2 laps left right now to get it done. Wilcox bringing it down close to 8 seconds. It's Holden Coat in third, Balzer fourth, and Alec Horn inside the top 5. I believe as they run, Casey Cochran is actually extending his championship lead, which is incredible as he runs in 6th. Oh my goodness, Jet Holyhead. I would go on off right there now, I'm telling you. Oh boy. Well, now that his heart is firmly in his eyeballs, let's see how he manages the pressure. Coming to the white flag this time by. Oh my goodness. The pressure is mounting. He's probably holding the controller harder than he's ever held a controller in his life right now. As the white flag waves in Anaheim, Jet Holyhead trying to win his first career main event in the U.S. Through the whoops one more time. It's got the hops a little bit. A nice clean little triple out there on exit. And electing not to double across the start this time. Trying to triple on off the table. Seth Crotty on the 71 very nicely, not getting into the mix at all. Holyhead double to this Supercross triple. Boy, I wish you could fist pump in this game because I feel like Holyhead's doing it There it is, on off this time. He is having no part of that thing one more time. And honestly, that's probably what he should have done many laps ago, but now he'll take it. Gap down to about 6.5 seconds, but it's not going to matter so long as Holyhead makes it through this whoop section clean one more time. He will do so. In and out of the sand section, across the mechanics area. Ozzy, 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 oi, 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 for the first time in his career, Jed Holyhead is a winner here tonight in Anaheim. Thomas Wilcox, a valiant effort to cross the line in second. It'll be Rasmus Balzer rounding out the podium in third. First time I feel like in a long time we've seen the fastest qualifiers get on the box, but that's where they ended up tonight. Holden Code, a terrific ride to get fourth. Cochran ends up top 5. It looks like he will end up holding on to that championship lead. Alec Horn ends up in 6th. Seth Shirley will cross the line in P7. 8th for last week's winner, Johan Bordeaux. 4 different winners in 4 weeks. Brandon Nygren ends up in 9th, and Magnetti, the Oakland winner at round 2, ends up inside the top 10. Trevor Spencer and Aaron Rockefeller were about to murder each other for 11th. They end up 11th and 12th respectively. Ryan Swanson will get 13th. J.R. Ray is the last man on the lead lap in 14th. Seth Crotty, we saw him a lap down there in 15th. 16th for Kate Karp, 17th for Tanner Thorson, 18th for D Mills, 19th for Tyson Johnson, 20th for Ryan Pinkerton, Emmett Sundin 21st, and Luke Sullivan did not finish this race. He only made it to lap 11. Tough night for the 11. Looking at his championship hopes completely dashed at this point, it would seem. But it is confirmed. Holyhead, your big winner of the night. Top 10 stays the same after cuts are in. And congratulations to this man right here, Jed Holyhead, your winner at Anaheim 2. All right, let me switch over, get this 450 main graphic up. Back down here to our timer and back into our intermission screen. Welcome back in studio. Kellen Brower bringing you guys the action here. Wow, great 250 main event. 4 different winners from 4 rounds so far in this 250 West Championship, and I honestly don't know where we're going from here. I believe Cochran holds the points lead, but still no wins, and I think only 1 podium so far too, so consistency is key for the number 20, and yeah, keeping himself right in the front of this championship chase through 4 rounds. We're getting to the halfway point of this championship. Jed Holyhead now, he puts his name into the mix, I should say, for trying to contend for this title moving forward. And wow, great stuff. All right, coming up next, it's time for this big dog main event. Like I said, if you were not with us last week in San Diego, you missed a hell of a 450 main event. Arguably one of the best straight up races I feel like I've seen in a long time in this game. Ended up kind of dying down towards the end. Alexis Leclerc comes out as your winner from San Diego. But man, Payson Johnson, Colby Eaglin, Braden Carter, and Alexis Leclerc, battle royale for all 20 minutes. We didn't even look at hardly anybody else throughout the rest of the pack because they were that close for that long. And in the end, they ended up, the top 4 separated by just 9 seconds. And the lead battle was intense throughout. So are we going to see another one like that tonight? Well, Leclerc's trying to make it 3 in a row. Carter would like to say something about that, but he had a rough go of it earlier tonight. Remember, he had to just barely squeak in through his heat race, got into 9th there right at the end. Otherwise, he may have gone to the LCQ. Maybe not have even made the main event tonight. That would have been huge. Colby Eaglin, he's trying to get his first win of the year. The 2020 champ, Jeremy Seabolt, he's been right in the mix, but they are all arguably chasing Payson Johnson into the action here tonight. Fastest qualifier by 1.5 seconds. That is insane. You don't see those gaps very often in MX Simulator, especially with the talent level that is on the line here tonight in this 450 class. Johnson goes out, dominates his heat race, and does some lines that no one else has done yet tonight that we have seen so far. Does the 3-4 before the whoop section, which was massive, and also quads onto the table after the jump over the start line. I don't know if he's going to do those in the main event, but boy, oh boy, him doing them in the heat race were absolutely massive and completely dominated that thing basically from the beginning to the end. Is it Johnson's turn to shine tonight? We'll see, but Johnson has a huge hole to dig out in this championship after missing the opening round in Anaheim. Went to the LCQ, didn't quite make it through at A1. Now has to try to fight all those points back. It is going to be a fun one, though. Strap in, folks. Grab your favorite beverage. Pull up a snack. Because it is time to go racing here. 450 main event action coming up here in Anaheim. Braden Carter, he's looking to have a better start here tonight. Matthias Janis, Nick Tomasunis, Austin Eklund, Alexis Leclerc, Jacob Hubbard, Trent Adams, Logan Leitzel, Jeremy Siebold, Brandon Holmes, Logan Leitzel, Tyler Shields, Adam Holmes, Seth Garrett, Trevor Burns, Bob Joe, Ethan Gerst, Payson Johnson, Caleb Hall, Tyron Tomich, and T-Lang, Tyler Lang going to the line. Whoo, man, this is going to be fun. Who we got? What do we think in the chat is about to happen right now? Is Johnson going to finally get that first 450 win of the season stamped off? Or will someone else fight through and win this one tonight? Can Leclerc make it three in a row? Will Braden Carter win another main event this year? All right, here we go. Let that timer begin and let the chaos ensue. The 30 card goes sideways. Off the track he goes. Let's get the revs up and drop the gate. Round 4 right now in Anaheim. Jeremy Siebold sleeping on the gate, sweeping in from the outside with a terrible gate pick is Braden Carter, picking up the RaceFactoryGaming.com Whole Shot Award. Leclerc, I believe, was down in the first corner. It's Carter from Adam Holm pulling up alongside Holm to the race lead. The number 17, Atom.com Gas goes to the front. Adam Holm, Carter out front leading early on. And it's going to be Carter going back to the lead after Holm makes an early mistake. Siebold was down in the first corner. He's 17th. Unbelievable. T-Lang looks like he also went down. Janis was caught up in the mix as well. Jack Haley, he went down. Trying to see the red plates. No, looks like Leclerc's in about 8th spot, so he may not have gone down. But he's got a lot of work to do, and Braden Carter is right where he wants to be at the front of the field. So Carter will lead the first lap, as Eagland and Johnson trying to swarm around Adam Holm right here. This is kind of the group that we saw towards the front last week. As Eagland moves into second place, Johnson trying to go to third just as quickly as Eagland made the pass. You got Caleb Hall on the 33. Leclerc's trying to make the pass on Tomich as they go through the whoops, hopping through him right there. Johnson and Holm losing a little bit of touch. Tomich goes by. You can see Leclerc right there on Caleb Hall in the background as Johnson quads on off the table to move his way into third place. Well, we theorized whether or not he would do it in the main event, and he does it the first lap through. I'm not sure if these guys just don't have it figured out yet, or if Johnson's got a suspension setting that is just working in his favor, but that is quite incredible that he's able to pull that off. It is not easy. That triple that he's jumping off of to quad onto the table, not a very big lip. They purposely rolled it out so nobody could do what Johnson's doing, but he's still making it happen as he closes up on his teammate. Colby Eagland for second place. So far, so good for Carter out front, but I think the eyes stay fixated here on Johnson, because if he gets around his teammate Eagland quite quickly here, Carter has got to have eyes in the back of his head, because Johnson will be coming dualies over the triple. Look at this, cuts underneath. Who gets a better drive in the whoops? It is going to be Johnson to the outside, through on his teammate in a second. Now, does he still do this line? Scrubs it down, gets the power down, and quads up kind of easily onto that tabletop. That's ridiculous. So 106.4 first time through, and Carter 106.1. So matching pace, but already under 2 seconds. I feel like Johnson is coming in a hurry. So our top three starting to separate a little bit here as Johnson tries to go for the triple quad, but backs out of it. Didn't quite get the landing clean on the 3 in. So where is Leclerc? Looks like Leclerc is still kind of buried there in about 6th spot. He hasn't quite made the moves yet that he wants to. And this is going to be huge for Carter in terms of points. If he can stay in this lead battle with Johnson, not fall back to where Leclerc is in the early runnings. 104.5 Payson Johnson. That's without the triple quad as well. And a 106.1 again for Carter. You just can't match that. This might be the pass of the lead right here if Johnson gets the quad on. Look at, carries the momentum around the outside. He's going to scrub this little double in, get that rear tire planted, quad up onto the table, and off to the inside. Johnson to the lead in Anaheim. Just like that. I don't think anybody else is going to have anything to say about this race win unless they figure that line out. It is so much different than what those guys are doing through that section. Now, does he get the triple quad here? Stays low there. Oh, yeah. Easy. Maybe a little case on the way out, but I'm very curious what this lap time is going to be now because he is absolutely ripping through these first couple laps here. Already got a 4-second lead on Carter, who I think just tucked the front end. A 103.2. Folks, he ran a 103 flat in qualifying. That's when he's trying to put hot laps down. Right now, he's just trying to get the race lead away. And a 103.2. Wow. So Carter, now after a little mistake, has slipped back to the clutches of Eaglin. This is not going to be a good sign for him. He's going to want to try to get a gap established here. The only thing these guys, I think, can hope for at this point is that Johnson crashes, I don't know, maybe 4 times in this main event. Will that be enough to push him back to these guys? Because the gap he's already established because of this is pretty sizable. Carter now starting to stretch it just out a little bit on Eagland again in second. Back to fourth again. Adam Holm checks in. I think it was a kind of a wise move for Holm to let those guys go early and try to settle into his own pace. The last thing you want to do is try to ride that pace, especially with Johnson going by you and trying to figure out what he's doing. All you're going to do is psych yourself out, maybe put yourself on the ground too early in this one. So settles into a nice pace here in fourth. Caleb Hall right there is in P5 and holding steady. He has kept Alexis Leclerc behind him for 5 minutes at this point. Leclerc has been pretty much right on the tail of the 33 machine and not been able to do much about it. So let's see if the 7 machine can start making some inroads to this group to the front. As Johnson lands the triple going the other way. You can see Carter going the other way with Eagland, then Holm. Hall, Leclerc is the battle we're watching right here. And man, a lot of credit right here to Caleb Hall. He is hanging in with the best of them. I mean, you know, he earned national number 33, so it's not like he is a bad rider by any stretch of the imagination, but when you're going up against arguably the greatest to ever do it right behind you and keeping him just right in check for 6 minutes at this point, it's pretty darn good. I'd be proud of myself, I think. So I feel like he should be as well, but this is the opportunity. Leclerc down on the inside of the sand, gets a drive across, makes that pass stick into 5th place. I think Leclerc wanted to get that pass done earlier if he could have, but it just wasn't there for the taking. So now Leclerc will set sail after old nemesis Adam Holm. Oh, Holm going down, taking Leclerc with him. Again, I don't know how Leclerc doesn't crash right there. Basically just kind of boops Adam Holm in the nose and keeps going, I guess. But stays in 5th because Caleb Hall went by. Oh, Eaglin, careful. Carter's kind of stretched it back out. So what's he doing lap time-wise? 105.3. That's pretty good. 104.2, though, for Johnson. I mean, he's just doing a completely different pace out front. We're not even halfway through this thing, and he's already looking at almost a full fall-off crash distance out front. Follows it up with a 103.4. You know. Incredible, this pace that he's laying down out front. And the lack of mistakes, too. Like, it's not like we've seen any big moment or anything like that. He's getting through the whoops very solid. Not going to do the line right here, I don't think. Oh, no, still is. Just pumps it out. I mean, for those of you claiming like gravity hacks or tire hacks or whatever, the one thing about Sim is that you can make a setup that does what Payson Johnson is doing. It's not impossible to do that, but you do sacrifice things in other areas. If Johnson cases something a little bit or OJ something a little bit and his setup is such that he's got suspension that rebounds really hard and perhaps his rider forward spring and damping is also very, you know, kind of buoyant, if you will, that is going to cause a lot of problems in other situations. So he's kind of riding through the problems, if you will, to have a setup right now that allows him to seat bounce something as hard as he's seat bouncing it to get the lift to do that. So it's really just down to these guys not being able to, you know, ride, I guess, maybe with the setup that Johnson's created here. Maybe it's a little bit too stiff for these guys to be comfortable with it. Eaglin just laid down a time 0.2 faster than Carter ahead of him, but the gap is staying pretty much the same. Not really much in it right there. And Leclerc pretty far back here. Hubbard now moves into the top 5 as he just got around, looks like Trevor Burns. And here's a couple guys this year that, quite honestly, I'm very surprised with. Not to say that they were not capable of this pace, but Hubbard, in kind of his first full year on a 450, has stayed right in the thick of the top 10 hunt. And Trevor Burns maybe has been my shock of the year so far. 4th in points, right in the mix every week, gonna shoot into 5th place right here. I mean, this guy is solid through 4 rounds, and doesn't look like he has any signs of slowing down. Went to this new Duncan Kawasaki program, and looks like he has really found a home and a comfort level that he enjoys over here. Battle for second starting to brew a little bit again. Eagland sees that rear tire of Carter in front of him. Let's go on board again with Eagland. 104.9 to a 105.3, so got it down another 0.4 this time by. Uh-oh, Johnson just went down with the lead, but he did not fall off the bike. Now this battle for second certainly has the makings of being a good one. These two were running a very similar pace to each other last week, as we saw. Right now, kind of matching it. Maybe Eagland just a tick better. But the two-time 250 Supercross champion, oh, that'll get your heart race going. Wow, how does he still triple that right there? Hardly lost any time because he has a seat bound setup of the gods, I guess, as well. All right, so Johnson now about to hit some lapped riders. Just now thought of the fact that Payson Johnson, last name Johnson, this reminds me of Jeremy McGrath's Supercross 98. You get the announcers yelling, "Johnson is riding like a bat out of hell." And he quite literally is out front right now. 105.5 versus a 106.3, so Eagland did lose about 0.8 of a second last time by. There's Leclerc and Burns. Let's give you a run through the field. This one's brought to you by R Jerky. Head over to eatrjerky.com. Look, folks, the Wageman brothers, I guarantee you Robbie Wageman has helped your PulpMX fantasy team this year. RJ Wageman will likely help your PulpMX fantasy team a little bit later in the year. But, you know, they're good dudes, and they got a jerky company. So go support them over at eatrjerky.com. That's eatrjerky.com. It's fantastic, delicious beef jerky. And if you use the code SYS20, that's SYS20 at checkout, you get 20% off your order right now, people. Right now. So if you haven't opened a new tab already and typed in Eat Our Jerky, I'm not sure what you're doing. But they will bring you this top 22 run through the field, led by Payson Johnson. The Panini Motorsports number 51 is demolishing the field right now. Braden Carter, defending champion on the number 1 Phil Ski and Snowboard Honda, runs in second. Colby Eagland on that Panini number 24 runs in third. And rounding out this top 4 group that we've seen for 2 weeks in a row now, it's Alexis Leclerc, the points leader on that Safe Moon number 7, backed by Panini Motorsports. Trevor Burns is catching Leclerc a little bit on his Duncan number 28 Kawasaki. Jacob Hubbard on the Phil Ski and Snowboard number 78 in 6th. Tyron Tomic on the CV number 42, in 7th. Adam Holm, the atom.com number 17, runs in 8th. It's 9th for Jack Haley, 2019 champ on his JDR number 2. And rounding out your top 10, Caleb Hall, the Underground RC number 33. 11th, Tyler Shields. 12th for T. Lang. 13th for Ethan Gerst. 14th for, Matthias Janis. 15th for Nick Tomasunis. 16th, awful night right now for Jeremy Siebold. 17th for Logan Leitzel. 18th for Seth Garrett. 19th for Bob Joe. 20th for Austin Eklund. 21st for Brandon Holmes. And 22nd, Trent Adams. Not going to finish the race here tonight. Oh, Johnson down with T-Lang. Awkward crash right there. And as Johnson tries to get going again, going to get by T. Lang. What is he lapped up to now? What is Lang? I think that was like 13th, 14th that Lang was in. So yeah, no, 14th. Pardon me. Have to put a user in chat on timeout for a minute. People are telling me Payson Johnson ran a freaking 102.7. What in tarnation? And then crashes and runs a 111.7. That's probably faster than I've been going in my life. Ridiculous. This dude on X Games mode, bro. I wonder if he's just trying to do qualifying laps now. Not a smart move, because I feel like he could crash. But this is an incredible pace he's putting out. Not doing that big line anymore, though, so this lap time won't be dramatically different than some of these guys back here. Eagland is still just hanging out right here behind Carter. That gap has just stayed steady at that 1 second and has not moved at all. And then Leclerc pretty much all by himself in fourth, just riding his own race. Looks like Johnson just went down again. He did. Wow. Gap down to 2.9 just like that. So Johnson not out of the woods just yet with 5 minutes to go. We have 5 minutes and a lap. And Carter is suddenly back there. It's just going to take one fall-off crash here for Johnson to maybe not win this main event after as dominant as he has been. It's tough to figure out where, though. He's been so good through the whoops, but he's also made a couple mistakes on some rather easy sections, I would assume you would call it. You're getting the quad on off pretty easily right there, and those guys back there still cannot match it. So Johnson trying to settle back into a pace here. Not sure what he would have done wrong to cause him go down in this section up here. Maybe he just didn't triple in very well or something. Yeah, I don't know. Looking relatively comfortable now. T-Lang and Matthias Janis just up the road of these guys. And they looks like Janis just went down. So just in a lap, it went from 2.9 to 4.9. So another 2-second gain on Johnson. That time by a 103.1, and he's not even doing the triple quad. I don't know what planet this man is on right now. Catching up to Lang again, though. Yeah, okay, OJ the triple in, got it. So just mistimed it. Gosh, that line is ridiculous. All right, let's go on board with him because it looks like he's on a burner right now. Is he going to go triple quad up here too? Stays so low to the ground on these jumps, just like does those little flick scrubs on everything, which if you've never played sim before, those things are not easy. There's the quad. He's down. He went for it and he goes down and he's over the back of the berm. This is going to cough up the race lead. Carter goes by. Here comes Eagland to move into second place. He'll go through. Johnson finally gets going, and now the race is really on. What just happened? Carter down in the sand. Carter goes down in the sand. Colby Eagland to the front. All right, now we're in for a race. Here we go. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Colby Eagland leads. Arguably been the second fastest ride on the track all night long. 3.7 seconds is the gap. Payson Johnson needs to claw some time back. Well, I mean, he could do 3 seconds a lap maybe this time by, but we'll see. Is he going for the big line? No, because there's lap traffic in front of him. Carter's still lurking back there as well, so if something happens with Eagland or Johnson gets a little bit sideways again, he could lose another position. Race is on in Anaheim. 2 minutes and a lap to go. Payson Johnson is suddenly doing the chasing after he's led so much of this race. And Eagland, who's been steadier than anybody else on the track all night long, is in a great spot, and Johnson goes down. He slid out into the corner and got teed up by Logan Leitzel. That might be the end of the dream. Wow. Wrong place, wrong time, really right there. But he kind of made his own destiny. Trying to put in a ridiculous lap has blown up in his face. Well, Eagland right now just has to put in consistent laps, and this race is his. Carter is not even close. And Johnson has lost even more time. What did he run? He just ran a 121.7. Jeez almighty, did he throw this one away late. At this point, I mean, Leclerc, another crash for Johnson. Leclerc's going to get him. And he really has himself to blame. That first crash, well, both crashes up until the Leitzel incident were all on him. So you just can't do that. So Colby Eagland, well, 18 points down in the championship of Leclerc entering. As it runs right now, he'll pull it to within 11. But is going to need Johnson to stay in that position. And he's not anymore. Leclerc went by. Johnson has coughed up that position. Leclerc is into third. So Alexis Leclerc moves up into the final podium position, which now means that as it runs, Carter's only going to gain 2 points. Eagland's only going to gain 5 points. And damage limitation very well done by the Frenchman. So after a race that we thought was going to be quite easily won by Payson Johnson, it has flipped on its head. The steady riding of Colby Eagland has shined through. He's not out of the woods just yet, making a couple mistakes here and there. And if he goes down, well, Braden Carter is going to pounce on that opportunity. But the white flag is about to be waving. Colby Eagland putting, looks like teammate Ethan Gerst a lap down right there on the 29. Carter out of the sand behind him. White flag here in Anaheim. Colby Eagland on the verge of his first win in 2022. The two-time 250 Supercross champion figures to be a huge player for this championship as he tries to become the 6th straight different first-time champion in this game. Go back to Alexis Leclerc in 2018, winning his first title. Haley followed it up with his first title in 2019. Then Seabolt did it in 2020. And then Carter did it in 2021. So, excuse me, the 5th different first-time champion, the 6th different champion in as many years, though, if you go back to Tyson Fresquez in 2017. But Eagland certainly factors to play into this championship deep into the season. And finally, he no longer has to wait for that first win to be checked off this year. He is going to do it right here, right now in Anaheim. He played the long game. He played it smart. He waited for Carter to make the mistake, and then he waited for Johnson to implode. Your winner tonight in Anaheim, Colby Eagland. Braden Carter will finish this one up in second. Leclerc should hold on for third. Jack Haley climbs all the way up to fourth by the end of this one as Johnson... there will not be a controller left after Johnson is done with it after this race, I feel like. But I suppose that's a little bit of what we can maybe expect out of Johnson. He's still young. He still has kind of got to learn the ropes of the 450 class. He's going up against a lot of guys into their mid to late 20s even, while he's still in his teen age years, and he's going to end up 5th after... Really should have won that race. Jacob Hubbard ends up in 6th. Adam Holm, a solid effort to get 7th. Tyron Tomic, last ride on the lead lap in 8th. Hall in 9th, and Lang rounded out the top 10. Janice, Gerst, Shields, Leitzel, Garrett, Joe, Eklund, Holmes, Burns, Tomasunis, Seabolt, and Adams was the whole field. Cuts just came in. Anything changing? No siree. everything stays the same. Colby Eagland, your big winner here tonight in Anaheim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have 3 different winners from 4 rounds so far in this 2022 MotoOption Supercross Championship. Colby Eagland wins tonight, moves from 18 back to 13 back in the championship. Alexis Leclerc holds on to the red plate. Braden Carter moves from 9 back to 7 back, and Payson Johnson moves from controller on his desk to controller thrown 30 feet to my right. That was a crazy race, though. Johnson should have won that one for sure, but immaturity, I suppose, got a little bit of him there. And we're going to move on now to Glendale next week. Glendale's going to be a fun one. Triple Crown race. Huge stadium floor to work with, so the racing action is going to be a lot of fun to watch from there. Hopefully you guys will join us next Wednesday, same time, same place, 6:15 p.m. Pacific, 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much to everybody that tuned in and watched tonight. Thanks to everybody that donated as well. You guys are a huge help to put this on every single week that donates to this channel. And of course, all of our sponsors, Race Factor Gaming, for putting this on and being able to host this series for us to stream. But then all of their sponsors as well. Of course, MotoOption Clothing on board for the 12th year behind MotoOption Supercross, Racex Suspension, Philski and Snowboard, Underground RC, OGL Paco on Twitch, MXS Lobby, just so many people behind the scenes helping put this on, the Race Factor Gaming track crew. And of course, a shout out to R Jerky as well for helping put this broadcast on for you guys to watch every single week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the action here from round 4 of MotoOption Supercross from Anaheim, and we'll see you next week in Glendale. Bye-bye for now.